Welcome to the Inner Self-Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Delamont. Real talk for women who are done overthinking, freezing, or abandoning themselves. If you are ready to feel calm in your body, trust yourself, and speak up without forcing it, you're in the right place. Because confidence isn't something you perform, it's something you build from the inside out. Let's go. Welcome to episode 34 of the Inner Self-Confidence Podcast. Stop blaming your parents, your partner, and perimenopause. I'm going to have a little introduction for this, so let's get into that. Okay, before I even begin today's episode, I do want to preface that this could be a controversial episode and might be hard to hear at some points. But if you know me and you know my work, you know that I am deeply committed and embedded in compassion. I love humans and all of our messy experience, and I'm here to bring truth and honesty to that experience. And everything I do, every client I work with, every word I speak comes from a deep place of genuine love for everyone's healing journey, no matter what it looks like. So what I'm about to say, I need you to know through that lens. Can we stop blaming our parents, our partner, and our perimenopause? I know. Stay with me because this episode might just shift something inside of you to change your life. Now, here's what I've been observing, and I say this with so much love. The pendulum has swung too far in the other direction. We went from one extreme to the other. What do I mean? The old way. We used to suppress everything. We were told to toughen up and get over it, stop being dramatic. Our feelings weren't validated. Our trauma wasn't acknowledged. Women especially were told to just smile and get on with it, and boys were taught that you cannot cry if you are a man, that it is a weakness. That was wrong. That's caused immeasurable damage. We know this now. But here's what's happening now. We have swung so far in the other direction that we've created a whole new problem. Now everything is a label. I have ADHD, I'm autistic, I have anxious attachment, I'm a highly sensitive person, I'm avoidant, I was in a relationship with a narcissist, it's perimenopause, it's my parents' fault, it's my trauma. And look, I'm not dismissing any of that. These things are real. The research is real, and you know I get on about it. The experiences are real. The pain is absolutely real. But the question most people are not asking, that's why they're suffering, is what can I do about it? Because here's what I'm seeing, not only in my clients, but in the world, especially on social media, and especially in the mental health space at large. We have more licensed psychologists than ever before in history. We have more therapy apps, more mental health awareness, more diagnoses, more labels, more validation than any generation before us that we know of. And yet, we have more depression, more anxiety, more stress, more suicide, more medicated people than ever before. So I have to ask, is validation alone actually healing us? I want to be really clear here because I know this is going to trigger some people. Validation is absolutely necessary. It is not sufficient. There is a crucial difference between I see you, I hear you, what happened to you was real and it was hard, and because of what happened to you, you get to stay exactly where you are forever. One is compassion, one is a trap. And I'm seeing so many psychologists, and I say this with respect for the profession, who are so focused on validating their clients' pain that they aren't actually moving them forward. When somebody says they've been in therapy for 20 years, I'm not saying therapy is bad and you shouldn't go. We absolutely should. And hygiene is vitally important. But where is this self-reliance where we're able to sit in the pain without being wildly consumed with it and actually transmute it and work through it, regulate through it, not just get through things? So many patients and clients sit in therapy week after week, month after month, sometimes year after year, and the clients leave feeling heard, which is beautiful, but they go home and nothing changes. What's actually missing when we hide behind labels is actually true compassion. Real compassion isn't just sitting with someone in their pain. Real compassion is believing so deeply in someone's capacity to heal that you refuse to let them stay stuck. You challenge them. You make them a little uncomfortable because you know that's how growth happens. That's what I do with my clients. And that's what I'm doing with you right now, especially if you're triggered. Now, let's talk about social media for a second. Social media is incredible for validation. Your post about your ADHD diagnosis and 47 people comment, same, and me too, and you're not alone. That feels amazing because it's a sense of community, it's a sense of being genuinely powerful, right? But social media is not the place where people actually get better. It's the place where people feel temporarily less alone in their struggle, and then they scroll to the next post. And I've seen this, my social media blew up by focusing on trauma. Trauma will get you all the shares, all the likes, all the follows, but nobody ever heals their childhood trauma from one carousel post. Nobody ever regulates their nervous system from a TikTok. Nobody ever built genuine inner self confidence from collecting diagnoses and labels that explain why they are the way they are. Explanation is not transformation. You actually have to do something different in the moment in order to transform. That's how change happens. That's how you regulate your nervous system by showing up differently, doing things differently, saying different things, holding yourself different, breathing different, completely changing what you used to do that was unhelpful. That doesn't mean you change who you are. I'm not going to go into that, but I see this pattern constantly. Somebody discovers that they have an anxious avoidant or an anxious attachment. They consume every piece of content about anxious attachment. They can explain their anxious attachment in extraordinary detail. They even know the neuroscience behind it, the childhood origins and the triggers. And yet they're still anxiously attached because knowledge without action is just really well informed suffering. And we are constantly living in this suffering instead of choosing differently, which is uncomfortable in the moment. And we think that our suffering is the uncomfortable part, but what's actually more uncomfortable is doing things differently. The reason why we don't change is because the pain of staying the same is not as strong as the pain of change yet. Now, let me walk you through some of the most common ones I see. I have ADHD. Okay, I hear you. ADHD is real. I know my husband definitely has it. It's neurological and it's challenging. And there are plenty of people running companies in a healthy way, having healthy, mindful, intentional families, creating art, building empires. So, what are we doing about it? What systems, what support, what nervous system regulation tools are you building in your everyday? This is about you. Okay, say you were raised by a narcissist or you were in a relationship with a narcissist. I mean, I can use this from my own example. My mother literally lied to me my entire life, as well as my father, on who my real father was. She literally gaslit him. And am I going to sit there in that anger, in that pain? No. Narcissistic abuse is devastating and real. And they come into your life to show you where you didn't have good boundaries. And at what point does understanding what happened to you become the story you use to explain why you can't move forward? My parents messed me up. Yes, we all have some sort of emotional wounding, which is trauma. Trauma is not trauma. We all have it, whether you're a highly sensitive person or not. We all have freaking trauma. And most of our parents were doing their best with their own consciousness, with their own level and their own healed trauma. But now you are the adult and you get to validate that child with compassion. And if you are constantly just getting more angry at that inner person, that little inner child inside of you that is angry, and you're just getting more angry and ashamed, you're not actually practicing compassion and you're not taking responsibility. You're parenting yourself the same way you were parented. Not because it's your fault, it's because nobody else can do it for you. You have to reparent yourself. And it is hard work and it does take a lot of time and energy and focus and doing uncomfortable things. That will absolutely disappoint people, but this is the work. Oh, my perimenopause. Oh, this is a great one. I was actually talking to somebody at an event how I was going to do this podcast episode, and she's like, "Oh, that's me." She's like, "I was blaming perimenopause for a year probably." And she said she went to the doctor, got all the tests, and literally none of the tests showed that she was in perimenopause. What it was is she was just severely overweight and eating very unhealthily. So, what did she do? She did a really uncomfortable thing. She hired a trainer. She got really serious about what she was putting into her body, working out for a year. I think she lost like 30 kilos. She said it was obviously one of the hardest things she's ever done, but the most rewarding thing she's ever done. And yep, she had to change some of her lifestyle choices and plans and people she was around and stuff. But this is what you have to do. If you want things you've never had, you have to do things you've never done. Perimenopause is real. The hormone shifts are real. The brain fog, the mood swings, the exhaustion, it's all real. And are we using it as an explanation or an excuse? Are we getting support? This is the issue. We put these labels on and then we don't even ask anybody for help. And we think that we have enough self drive to just, you know, be able to heal ourselves. I have never been able to get to where I wanted to be without asking for help. I could have never written my book without a coach. I could have never got out of my freeze state for 7 years without going to the gym, without hiring a coach. I had to hire a coach in order to break my freeze state. In order for me to heal my body in so many ways that I've hired so many coaches, so many mentors. In order for me to break 6 figures in my business and really actually grow, I had to hire coaches. I had to do that. You cannot get to where you want to go without the help of other people. And that's another way we stay stuck because we're not compassionate with ourselves enough to say, I need help. It's one of the bravest things you can do. Getting support, regulating your nervous system, nourishing your body. Go back to my episode about self respect, not self love. Are you using these things as reasons to opt out of your own life and fall back into those unhelpful patterns? And here's what I want you to hear. Your diagnosis is not your destiny. Your past informs you. It does not define you. Your past is not your prison. Your hormones are not your identity. And what does true compassion look like? So, what's the alternative? It's not going back to suppression, okay? I'm not going to tell you to just toughen up and get over it. Step one is absolutely full acknowledgement. Yes, what happened to you was and is real. It is hard. It has shaped you. And it makes sense that you feel this way. Like, getting context to your chaos absolutely matters. When I found out that the man who raised me isn't my biological father, it absolutely gave me immense clarity. It lifted things off of my chest. It was like getting a diagnosis of some sort because I felt wildly confused and discombobulated about something my entire life, and it just made sense. So, yes, we acknowledge step one. But two is radical responsibility. This is not about blame or shame, responsibility. The question isn't whose fault, how did that happen, why did it happen? The question is, okay, that happened. This is how I feel. What am I going to do about it now, in this moment? Not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now, in this moment. And then, of course, compassion, which most people think me saying stop blaming your parents, your partner, and perimenopause is not being a compassionate person. But actually, the opposite is true. If you are blaming your partner, your parents, and perimenopause, that's because you're not being compassionate enough to say, oh, okay, I'm going to acknowledge this. I'm going to take radical responsibility and actually be compassionate with myself through this long journey that I'm on. It's not toxic positivity and it's not pretending that everything's fine, but it's taking one small, regulated, compassionate step forward every single moment, moment by moment. And here's what I know from working with hundreds of women. The moment a woman stops identifying with her wounds and starts identifying with her capacity to heal, when I started stepping into a new identity and I visualize every single day, I do MVP, I meditate, visualize, and pray every single day. I visualize the woman I want to become and I step into her every single day. How would she be thinking? How would she be feeling? How would she be holding herself? What would she be wearing right now if I was really at that place I want to be in? Everything changes when we expand our inner capacity. When we stop saying, I'm anxious, and we start saying, I'm experiencing some anxiety right now, but I know how to regulate through it. When we stop saying, I'm broken, and start saying, I'm healing every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. When we stop saying, oh, this is just who I am, and we start saying, this is where I've been, it is not where I'm going. Just because that was my story before, it does not need to follow me in the future. Yes, it could be a part of me, but it's not all of me. That's inner self confidence. You have to do the work. And here's where I'm going to really get real with you. Inner capacity doesn't come through comfort. Let me say that again. So many people are into nervous system regulation about being safe and feeling good and blissful. And yes, feeling safe in your body absolutely does feel comfortable at some points, but a lot of the time, safety comes from expanding that comfort zone. So being in the discomfort and then being with yourself in that discomfort and showing yourself that you can handle it in the moment. Inner capacity does not come through comfort. You cannot scroll your way into self-confidence. You cannot validate your way into healing, and you cannot think your way into a regulated nervous system. You have to do the work in real time, in that moment. And this is why the first 4 weeks of my 90 Days to Inner Self Confidence program is entirely dedicated to building inner capacity. Before we talk about boundaries, relationships, communication, and confidence, you have to build the foundation. You have to be able to sit in stillness and not want to run away. You have to be able to sit in uncomfortable conversations again without avoiding numbing or tuning out. That foundation is built through discomfort every single day in those first 4 weeks. My clients do 20 minutes of homework, meditation, journaling, nervous system regulation practices, or MVP, meditation, visualize, and prayer. Whatever you want to do, it's 20 minutes you dedicate for yourself going in. And you know what happens? Most of them, Katie, I don't have time for that 20 minutes. Katie, I've tried to meditate and it doesn't work for me. Katie, journaling feels pointless. Oh, I keep forgetting to do it. And that's resistance. And that's exactly why you need to do it. When it's something you're not used to doing, that you keep putting off and you're not doing it, that's your sign that, hey, this is something I do need to be putting more time to. Show me where you're avoiding stillness, and I'll show you the patterns that are running your life. Because the discomfort you feel sitting with yourself for 20 minutes is the same discomfort you feel having that hard conversation. Even though your nervous system might be dysregulated in a different way, it's still discomfort. It's the same discomfort you feel setting the boundary. It's the same discomfort you feel choosing yourself for the first time. And every time you sit in that discomfort, and come out the other side with more compassion, more empathy, more respect, you build your inner capacity. It grows. That's how it works. That's the only way it works. You don't build muscle by thinking about going to the gym. You don't build inner capacity by reading about it on Instagram. If you want to actually do the work, you have to do the work. My inner self-confidence program is at least 20 minutes a day. That's not including the videos that you have to watch, but they're not that long. It's only like, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes a week or something. But that's the price of transformation. And I promise you, the woman on the other side of those 90 days, and you can use my recipe for anything else after that 90 days. You don't just magically become confident in 90 days, but I give you not only tools, but the method and the ways in which I do it. And the way you do it is also very important. If you're trying to build boundaries, but you don't have capacity, they're never going to stick. If you're trying to have boundaries and build your inner capacity, but you're not being consistent, again, it's never going to stick. So we build the foundation, the inner capacity first. Then we start to build the boundaries and we get behind what's blocking you for that clarity. Then the consistency. We start making micro habits an everyday thing. And if you have a big goal, how to break it down. So we don't hide behind labels anymore. We don't blame our parents, our partner, or a perimenopause. An inner confident woman knows who she is, knows what she's capable, and she has the inner capacity to handle whatever life throws at her because she does the work. And here's what I want to leave with you today. If you've been hiding behind a label, I'm not judging you. I've done it too. I still do plenty of times, and I will continue to do, but hopefully less and less. If you've been using your past and as an explanation for your present, I get it. It makes sense. I mean, this is why I write my books to help people feel more grounded in their own experience. And if you've been sitting in validation without moving forward, that's okay too. You didn't know any other way. But now, hopefully, this podcast is shifting that perspective that you are not your diagnosis. You are not your childhood. You are not your hormones. You are not your past relationships. You are the person with an extraordinary capacity to heal, and all it takes is probably 10 to 20 minutes a day and the courage to do the uncomfortable work. And if you're ready for that, please book a free strategy call with me. The link is all in my bio, all on my website. Let's talk, share it with somebody who might need to hear this today. I love you and I believe in you, and I know that this work works and it is available to anybody who is willing and wants to. Till next time, thanks so much. You want to jump on that free strategy call? Just go on my website, www.katiedelamon.com. Check me out there. You'll also find a link if you want to check out my book, Trust the Flames. You can buy it anywhere they sell books. Amazon is always the quickest. And if you want to follow me on any social media handle, my name is Katie Delamon. I'm probably the most active on Instagram. See you next time.